This is my informative speech. Okay, the topic that I want to talk to you today about is malpractice, and it's a concept that's very familiar to me because I have a history as a registered nurse, and right now I'm entering into the legal profession. And while I was doing my internship as a paralegal, I got to work in a medical malpractice, personal injury, workman's comp firm, and I got to learn a lot about this. And it opened my eyes to a whole different world that I had seen before as a nurse. Basically, as a nurse before, we see the hospital, we see the dangers and the errors and all that occur in hospitals, but we feel like there is nothing that we can do about it because we're so small in the little ocean of the reality. And you hear doctors and stuff complain about how high malpractice costs are, malpractice insurance costs are, and they think it's mostly because of patients doing frivolous lawsuits, but that's really not the case at all. The American Medical Association blames the legal system itself for the current state of malpractice, and that's very, very far from the truth. The accusations that they make are saying, like I said before, that it's just very frivolous lawsuits, that the explosions in cost are due to astronomical jury verdicts, and that the legal system itself is out of control. However, the Institute of Medicine states in a report from 1999 that medical errors, not heart disease, not car accidents, not anything else, are actually the leading cause of death. In the U.S., at least 44,000 to as many as 98,000 people die every year as a result of medical errors. Hospitals like to use the word adverse events when it's not life-threatening, and those numbers aren't even counted in this 48 to 98,000. That's just deaths as a direct result of medical error. But just as the costs, or just as how many of these cases are reported every year, the costs of medical malpractice are estimated between $17 billion and $29 billion a year. And while those costs are going up for the hospitals and the insurance companies, it's also going up for the consumer. Rather than reducing the real threats posed to the healthcare system and the patients, the doctors' lobby has proposed to shift the cost of those injuries to the people. The individuals who are hurt, their families, voluntary organizations, and of course the taxpayers. Doctors and patients should be allies against the insurance companies and the lobbyists, not pitted against one another. They should work together to reform the poor business practices of the insurance companies rather than to blame the victims and the lawyers. Only 6% of the doctors in Florida are responsible for over half of the malpractice that occurs. And these doctors are still practicing. It's only between 20 and 30% of doctors who have committed a lethal error that have their licenses taken away or put on probation or suspension. The rest of them still practice like it never happened. Instead of policing every doctor and driving up the cost doing that, we should spend the money policing the doctors who are causing all of the problem. The awards that are given in jury, I guess I should say the jury awards that are given, I don't feel are astronomical, because how can you put a value on the price of your mom's life? Or your arm, if you lose your arm. That's worth $1 million to me. That's, unfortunately, they chose to go into that practice, and they should have to be responsible for what they do. I was reading in a specific article that the AMA put out about how many incidences, cases happen, and last year there was like 122 surgeries that they had to go in and remove foreign bodies that they left in during the procedure. And then 66 of them, 66 of the surgeries were wrong surgeries. They did the complete wrong procedure on the patient. I don't know how that's not just one person. That error got through 10 or 15 people before it actually happened. And that's extremely frightening. I understand that doctors and medical professionals are only human. They aren't superhuman. They will make mistakes. But unfortunately, you have to pay for your mistakes. The only way that we as Americans are going to be able to fix this system, unfortunately, I feel, is to have to litigate it. The only way to affect change in somebody is to make it so painful that they have to change. And I feel that if we continue going the way that we're going, either doctors are going to go out of business and our medical system is going to collapse, or things are going to get reformed and it's going to get better for the people and the patients and their families.
Yay! Now you can talk.